Good morning, everyone. Glad that you're joining us. I hope we still get a few more to come in, but we just discussed in our little round that this is one of the first sessions of the IUFRO World Day, so maybe it takes still a little bit of finding out how exactly to navigate to the sessions, but we'll slowly start anyhow. So good morning to everyone. I assume for most of you it's morning, or otherwise good afternoon. I'm Lisa Pryor. I work with the EFI, the European Forest Institute, mainly on a project that is a collaboration between EFI-IFSA and IUFRO, but my colleague will tell us a little bit more about it, and I will moderate today's session. Basically, what's happening is that my colleague Juliet will give us a bit of an introduction to the project that we've been working on, and also present some of the outcomes that we've had so far from a student survey, as well as from a Delphi study with different experts in the field of forest employment. And then Alina, who I will introduce a bit further later as well, is currently also one of our trainees. She will launch the IFSA TreE-Learning Platform, a very exciting new platform for forest education. So there's still a few people coming in. Right, so our first speaker today is Juliet Achieng. She's also has a background and a master in forestry, or specifically in tropical and international forestry from the university in Göttingen. And she's been working with the European Forest Institute for pretty much 3 years now on this global student networking and green jobs in the forest sector project. And Juliet, to you, if you would like to share your screen, please go ahead with telling us a bit more about this exciting project.
Okay, so thank you, Lisa, for the introduction. And I feel like you've already introduced the project, so I'm wondering what will I share, but let's see. So I hope everyone can hear me, and it's nice to see some familiar faces. So a good morning and a good afternoon or good evening from wherever you are. And I will share my screen, so just give me a moment. So I hope you can see my screen. Okay, excellent. So I'm trying to do it in slideshow. Just give me a minute. So can you see it in slideshow? Excellent. So I will be talking about this project that is a collaboration by the EFI-IFSA-IUFRO that started in December 2018 and will continue up to March 2022. So I will talk about our team and what the objectives are, and then the approach that we've been using since the project started, and the outputs that we've been able to come up with so far, and also share some insights into the future. So the team comprises of Lisa, Alina, and myself. And it's important for me to mention that Alina is part of the Dare to Explore traineeship program. That is one of the initiatives by our project. And we have Janice Barnes from IUFRO. We have Simona Massaro from IFSA, who are also supporting our project. And from the EFI side, we have Georg Zinkel. The objectives of our project have been to provide insights into the future of forest sector labor market, and this we do through analysis of global employment trends and also skills needed for employment in the sector. And then the other objective for us is to facilitate global networking among future leaders, and to also offer capacity building opportunities to forestry students and young scientists. So for the research component of the project, we have 4 steps and 1 additional one. And the first one was a literature review on the future of forest-related employment, while also exploring green jobs. And this was done in 2019. and we came up with a working paper, which is ready. And the second step was the Born Experts Workshop. And here we brought together experts on forest-related employment, green jobs in the forest sector, as well as forest education. So the aim of the workshop was to discuss the gaps that had been identified from the literature review, and also to explore ways in which the global survey among the IFSA students and recent graduates, which was conducted in 2020, would help address these gaps. So we are still in the process of analyzing the data that we collected from this survey, but I will mention more about the survey and about the experts report in my subsequent slides. And we have an additional task that we introduced, and we introduced it because we felt like from the literature review that we carried out in 2019, there was data missing on the future of forest-related employment and green jobs in the forest sector. So we decided to explore these two topics using experts on these fields who shared their insights into how the future would look like. And the study is still in progress. We are done with the first stage, and we have 2 more stages to go. And the last task in the research part of the project is employers' interviews. So this is in progress, and I will mention more in the following slides. Then the second component of this project is networking, capacity building, and engaging students in science policy processes. So here we have the Dare to Explore traineeship program, which I've already said that Alina is part of it. And this was an annual initiative. So we did it since the project started in 2019, and we already have 3 rounds. And in total, we've had 12 trainees taking part in this program. And this means that it was 4 trainees per year. So all these trainees have had an opportunity to work in international organizations that are dealing with forest issues. And so we also have the Young Scientists Initiative. So this initiative was to bring together scientists from developing countries and pairing them up with supervisors or senior researchers from developed countries. And in 2019, we had 10 visits. Then we are also showcasing career opportunities in the forest sector. So we have the Job Talks videos, and Alina will tell us more about this when she's presenting about the platform that she will be talking about. And then we also try to explore ways for cooperation between different capacity development initiatives. So what have we done so far? The Experts Workshop Report. So this report focuses on 7 countries. So that's Brazil, China, Finland, Germany, Indonesia, South Africa, and the US. And in this report, we highlight the state of employment in forestry and logging, as well as the broader forest sector employment. We also provide an outlook on green jobs in these focus countries. We also highlight additional trends in forest-related employment. And we also try to highlight ways in which forest-related tertiary education is addressing these trends. So this report will be published in October 2021. And then the other activity that we did is the global survey. So the target group here was students in forest-related higher education, as well as recent graduates. And we asked them what their motivation was for entering forest-related programs. We also wanted to find out from them what their career aspirations are, and then also collect their perception on the relevance of practical experience, which they gained during their studies, and how relevant it was. And it was interesting to find out from the students that the practical experiences that they gain, so for example, traineeship, is very important in helping them making a decision on the career that they want to pursue. And then we also wanted to explore their perception on skills that they consider relevant for employment, and then also how prepared they feel for the job market, as well as the perception of green jobs. So some preliminary results from the global survey, as I said, that we are still analyzing the data. So we received over 1,600 responses. This was really a good representation from all regions, and the gender was really balanced, and we had most of the responses coming from bachelor's students. So for the students category, they're the ones who responded the most. And then for the recent graduates, we still had those ones with a bachelor's degree being the highest respondents. And then for the complete surveys, the complete responses, you see that we had over 500 females responding. And so this means that we had more females than males responding to our survey. So on to studies motivation. So we see that 67% of the respondents stated that forestry was their first career choice. So this is very good news, because we've been hearing so many times that most of the people find themselves in forestry, not because they wanted to, but as a plan B. So, but still in Africa and North America, you can see that the number of students who have forestry as their first choice is still very low. And then we also asked the students, like, the knowledge they had about forest-related career options. So like after their studies, do they know what they want to do? And they felt like they were not so sure about this. So this means that there's still room for improvement in educating students about career options. And one of the ways this can be achieved is through a platform like TreE-Learning that we will be launching today, and Alina will be sharing more about this. And then it's also important to provide mentorship to students so that they can know like how to navigate this field. Then the other activity that we did is the Delphi study. So here we were making cross-national comparisons on forest-related employment in 5 countries. So the 5 countries are Brazil, China, Finland, Germany, and the United States. So in total, we have had 33 experts participating in the first stage of the survey. And the time frame that we were investigating is between 1990 to 2040. And we were asking the experts what changes in employment they've seen in their countries in the 90s and how it's going to look like in the future. And then we were also asking them what the important forest-related employers are in their country and how it was in the past and how it's going to be in the future. And then we also asked about the drivers of these changes. And then we also asked about their understanding of green jobs in the forest sector, as well as what the transition to green jobs would mean to employment, forest-related employment, that is. And some preliminary results from the Delphi study. So we see that there's a shift from classical forestry to nature conservation, education, and other services that are obtained from the forest. And then we also see that there's the diversification of the roles of foresters, as well as the scope of the sector. And because of this diversification, there's increased need for qualified foresters. So lifelong learning becomes very important because of this. And then we also see that the demand for foresters is really increasing, and we see that non-traditional forest players are hiring foresters. And then there's also the shift towards Industry 4.0. So there's a lot of digitalization taking place in the sector. And then there's also a diversity of the workforce of this sector. So yeah, this is really good news. And then about the future, so what are we still not doing or what needs to be done? So we have the employers interviews. Like I stated, so this is already in progress. We are planning everything out before we start the interviews in October. That is next month, and the interviews will continue up to November 2021. So we are currently working with 12 student volunteers who will be interviewing forest-related employers from Brazil, Finland, Germany, South Africa, and the US. And the aim of this study is to identify the changing nature of forest-related employment, as well as investigating the skills required by employers for employment in the sector. And in the end, we are hoping that we will be able to interview at least 50 to 60 employers. And in early 2022, we are planning to have a project wrap-up event. So this is when our project is ending. And the aim of this event is to disseminate the results from our research activities, because we've been doing a lot since 2018. And we will also be stock-taking future research and capacity building needs in forest education and green jobs in the sector. And we are targeting different stakeholders. So we will have the project partners, and then we will have organizations working on this topic, for example, Forest Europe and many others. So please check our website for more updates. And thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Juliet. I sort of forgot to say before, since we're a rather small group, feel free to post questions in the chat at any point, and I keep an eye and make sure they're addressed at some stage. And for now, I think it would also be good if you could just raise your hand, and we're happy to take questions on the floor. I see no raised hands. Everything clear. Perfect presentation by Juliet. Well, if there truly is no questions, if you have anything coming up, still keep it in the chat. Otherwise, I would suggest we move on. I guess everyone is just very excited for the launch of this platform. So then I will welcome Alina Lehikoinen to the floor, I guess, to the virtual floor. She's the outgoing IFSA president, and as we've already mentioned 3 times, is currently a trainee in the Dare to Explore traineeship program. And as a trainee, she has some time to designate to this platform that we're all quite excited about. And I know it's something that IFSA has been planning for a very long time, and it's really great to see it come to life. So Alina, please go ahead and tell us more about the platform.
Thank you. I would be very excited to do so. I'm going to share my screen so that you can all join the Mentimeter presentation here to hopefully keep you activated for the next half an hour-ish that I will be talking about this platform. When you make it here, you can maybe press the little heart so we can see how many people have made it there. Thank you. And I think, well, I'm going to keep the QR code maybe here for a little bit longer, just so that it's easy to join, although we could maybe also soon move on to the first question. And because I just want to do a little scoping of what kind of audience we have here today. Because even though I very much welcome all of you, and I'm happy that you have found your way here today, the platform is aimed for forestry students, although it's free for all, open for all, and very much take a look at it. But yeah, so just a quick, are you a student? What kind of audience do we have here today? Out of curiosity, and to wake you up if you're not awake yet. So mostly foresters, at least, whether or not students, or maybe, well, I didn't specify whether the no, not a student means that you're a forester or not, but nice. we do have students and we have non-students. It's very exciting to see a diverse audience in this way. So yeah, then I guess I could get into the actual point of what is the platform. So it is a place for forestry students to learn about soft skills and other topics that they miss from their formal education. And we have, because we have had now the project that is also aiming to address the holes that are left by the education. And this is one way that we can maybe fill in the gaps. And make sure that there are these lifelong learning opportunities. And then, because soft skills is one of our focuses, because it's something that has been expressed by forestry students that is lacking from their education, then there also a question like, do you feel that your formal education was or is lacking it? And this is a very big yes, at least so far, 8 yeses and 1 maybe, which is, well, not great to see. Of course, I would wish that formal education programs also address this more, but well, at least I'm happy that maybe this platform will, this will be of use to you. Well, I was expecting maybe a few more no's there, but but maybe this is something that educators can also hopefully address in the future, because we also in IFSA, even though we try to we want this platform to do well and be used, we also advocate for forestry education and hope that it makes the best possible future forestry professionals, so that also maybe more soft skills training could be integrated into the learning programs. Well, then why was this needed exactly? So in the Green Job survey aimed at forestry students, the participants at least somewhat expressed that their formal education lacked necessary soft skills training. And there are a lot of platforms out there that offer like forest-related courses and some databases, like there are even a few different databases that collect these kinds of courses together. And there are also similar databases or websites that have like soft skills trainings, or like they are often like very wide, any kind of online courses websites, but there is starting to be so many of these. So like when I started looking into this, what we could do with this TreE-Learning platform, and was comparing it to what is already out there, even I was like, well, there is too much, and at the same time, like it's difficult to find like very specific things. And the other thing is, like, even if there are very interesting and professional and good courses, it's difficult to maybe get into it, because many of these courses take like 30 or 20, or like even 4 hours can feel like a lot when you're a student with 40 hours of coursework and possibly even a job on top of that. So there is a threshold in taking time to actually take this course. And we wanted to offer something that was not so heavy. So how does this adding one more platform help with this too many platforms problem? How does this not just get lost in the maze too? So one thing we want to focus on is small collections of curated content, taking advantage of what is already out there and making the maze of courses more navigable. So we take a topic and make it, well, even a 1 hour course would be saying too much, because the main content doesn't often take that long. There are like a few pieces of the main content, and in addition to that, there is this list of additional content that has like links to other platforms, and like through that, you can maybe find these 30-hour courses if that's what interests you. Or then you can just find a few articles, a few scientific papers, some podcasts and videos, but not a whole network that you have to Google yourself. Then more easily approachable content. So not whole webinars, not 2-hour videos. What we want to do is podcasts and short videos and quizzes, and this kind of that is like easily approachable and fun to consume. And then this is from forestry students to forestry students. So it's mainly content that youth have attention span for. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I am also youth that may have a short attention span sometimes. I know from experience that even though webinars are interesting and like I am more likely to participate in webinars when I can actually take part in them in real time, but it's difficult even if there is an interesting topic, like if there is a whole 2-hour video, there is a threshold in like watching it on your own time. But this is short videos, and like even if it's made from a whole webinar, it's divided into pieces and hopefully made more approachable that way. And then again, a little question of how approachable or interesting do you find the following content formats? Because these are different formats that we have, and I haven't made this exact kind of poll yet, even though we have been workshopping these ideas and asking like letting everyone say what they would like to consume. But this kind of poll would also benefit me in knowing what kind of content benefit me and everyone else in the future who is making content for the platform to know what kind of what would be interesting. So yeah, all of these are things that can and will be found on the platform, but it's good to know like what are the best, most interesting ones. And now it seems that short videos and podcasts and quizzes, exactly what we have been focusing on, are in the lead. Also non-scientific articles and other reading material, scientific papers and long videos, less so. But also very nice to know that at least we have been starting at the right place. Great. Very nice to see this. Right, short videos usually our main content and also winning, so to say, this poll. Great. Then the quality over quantity, that is what we started with. Because there are a lot of these platforms that like try to collect every single course on the topic already that can be found on the internet. And that is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to test every course or test most of everything that we actually put on the platform and make sure that it has in a concise packet, it has the most important knowledge. So that is what we're going with, quality over quantity. Even though these platforms with a lot of stuff have their own place, and I'm very happy that they exist because we can also link to these other platforms and they will benefit, they will definitely benefit some people. So how does this change students' life then? Well, of course, we don't know yet exactly because we're just getting to the testing phase, but hopefully for the better. It's about this lifelong learning that was mentioned. It's about filling the gaps in the formal education, possibility to improve oneself in an interesting, low threshold way that is hopefully enticing to first-year students. And we also hope that employability of first-year students grows due to better soft skills and competitiveness in the forestry and environmental fields, so that as Juliet, for example, mentioned, forestry professionals are also being employed by non-forestry employers nowadays. And we want forestry professionals, young forestry professionals, to be competitive in those fields too. and to show that we have what it takes, we have the knowledge and the necessary skills to work there. And now it's time for the demonstration. So let's see. I need to, oh no, the bar is on the way. All right. There. So we have the IFSA first IFSA page, and then go to TreeLearning. And you can easily see that you have come to the right place with the beautiful TreeLearning logo popping up. And this is the landing page, a little explanation of what there is there. And then the first categories of what would you like to learn about today. So they're divided into two main categories, soft skills and forestry topics. In addition to which there are the three different categories of job talks, external resources, and event content. So why we have made this division into two, I mean, the main content and the more content, is because these more content and resources were things that existed before the platform was made. And of course, like, this isn't the first time that we are developing IFSA learning material. So we wanted to link all of this here too, because it doesn't benefit anyone that it will be lost when we are starting to make new material in a very specific format. But what we have as main content here are the soft skills and forestry topics. And then, for example, the job talks, and I will be presenting them today. And then during your own looking through the platform, you can also check out what the others look like. A bit different, but also useful in their own way. And then we have the upcoming learning events calendar. So for example, here there is a capacity building workshop that we have coming up on Sunday. And then very last, there is the feedback form can be found on the first page, as well as in every module, because we really want, if you have something to say, we really want you to be able to find your way to say it. So for example, then let's get into the soft skills category. There is this there's this category page, and you can see a bit of explanation of what soft skills are here, as well as the courses that we have. So this is not very full yet. As you can see, there are just 2 courses, but the point of the platform is that we can add there for years to come. So now we have this, and we will have like the guidelines how to create content there. And then it will be easy to continue and easy to keep up, but now we have something to start from. And we have 2 different course types. Ones that are based on IFSA made content, like workshops and webinars that IFSA made themselves, and then others that are based on other content that is also like high quality and also can be found freely on the internet that we have collected together as a course. But for example, the CV and motivational letter writing course can be opened here. And this is based on an IFSA workshop. And it was originally like around an hour and a half of workshop, but because it was a workshop and it was interactive, it doesn't make sense to keep in the interactive parts. So what we did was cut in the important parts and made them into a few different videos. So we have the main page, and then we have the main content, additional resources, and quiz. And that's basically the it's a structure for all the courses. And then when we open the main content, a bit of an explanation here again, and then you can get into the subsections. And for example, here the CV, and it has 2 videos, and basically all the subsections are made of 1 or 2 videos. So it should be easy enough to watch both of them after each other because they are quite short, but also is to continue afterwards if you just have 15 minutes and then want to continue later. Watch them, and either there is a button here that says mark complete or into the next subsection. Also, these buttons might look a bit different to you because I am logged in at the moment, and this is very much usable without an account too. But for example, for me, this at the moment, like it tracks my progress. So I can see the progress part here, and it shows me enrolled, but it's almost the same. And then there is the next motivation letter subsection, and then this is all the main content. So either if I go to previous subsection, or now is the here mark complete button, previous subsection will be CV, and then next section goes into the additional content. And here you can, for example, see what the lists look like. Some of them are a bit longer. This is quite basic because we didn't want to flood this with too much so that it can still be found like the most important things. So here are, for example, links to the speaker slides and also the whole workshop with a list of audience questions. And then some CV and motivation letter templates and how to use them and examples. And these examples also include like some articles about how to write a good CV and motivation letter, as well as a little more video content. For example, another short video that we took out of the workshop, but didn't feel needed to be in the main content, but can be useful, as well as an external video that was funny and interesting and told a lot of good points about writing a CV and a motivation letter. So that's basically what a module based on IFSA content looks like. And then there is this the second type, which we can check in first 3 topics. That is based on content that is not originally made by IFSA. That is for example, the climate change and forest here. So it has the same structure. As you can see, there are the sections, and then there are the subsections. These tend to be a bit shorter because if we have like a whole 1 or 2 hour webinar, we know that it's like consistent and like all of the content in the different pieces doesn't really overlap and it doesn't repeat itself. But if we if we build around like separate short videos, they may overlap, so it doesn't make sense to have the basics 5 times. But like anyway, there is you can open the section, there is the main content as a video, then there is the additional material with a few more videos and other content, and then again a quiz. All of them voluntary. This is like these are things that we can later on have, for example, certificates about on the IFSA made courses, but also for now the quizzes are mainly for fun. So this is basically what the platform looks like and what how it works. So now let's see. Yeah, so just 1 or 2 words about your first thoughts. How did it look? Did it look, interesting or fun, or maybe a bit lacking still? Amazing, that's a good way to start. Very happy to hear that. Well, this is, wow. I would also still expect, like I know that it is something that we have been doing only for a few months now. So it is, understandable if there would be something lacking, but I am also very happy to hear this very good feedback to start with. Accessible, also a very nice adjective to hear there, something that we definitely wanted to keep in mind. Nice logo, I agree. It wasn't my design, but I agree we had a very good designer there. Potential, promising. Thank you. Great. Then a few words still about the future of the platform. So content-wise, as said, more content will be created following each IFSA webinar and workshop and other events that are suitable to be made into tree-learning content format. For example, the aforementioned capacity building workshop, we will have, it is a very interactive workshop to have a more interesting workshop, but also we have short pieces there that are like a few short presentations of about 5 minutes that we can then turn into tree learning content. Then specialized courses by different IFSA commissions and subcommissions, and also like, sure, some of these have already been made by different IFSA commissions and subcommissions, the webinars that are already on the platform. But for example, we already have an international forest policy module in the works with the international forest processes, international IPC commission of IFSA, and also talks about other things like, for example, gender and forestry has been a very requested topic, and we now have like a gender subcommission. So we have also been talking about course for that and like other exciting things to come, as well as course bundles. So for example, we have been thinking that we can do like a specialized course bundles about like the content that we already have on the platform, but they are built, these specific bundles are built for, like, for example, a specific delegation. So for example, well, the next climate COP is coming a bit too soon, but we can build a course bundle for a climate COP delegation. It would include maybe the forests and climate change module to learn a little bit more about the topic. Then there would be some of the international forest policy course, at least about the UNFCCC and maybe some other important processes too, and about how international forest policy works in general. And then in addition to that, some necessary or important or useful soft skills courses, like how to talk to strangers in a conference or public speaking or whatever would be useful in that kind of setting. And then also we have a few features that we are planning that are coming up. For example, peer-to-peer learning and Discord integration, stuff that was very much, that came up in like our preliminary workshop, brainstorming workshop about what this could look like. And this is something nice that we hope we can offer our members because, well, study groups work for a reason. It's more fun to do it together often. Then we soon have brand new member accounts coming up, and they would enable the process of the process tracking and certificates that you already saw, that I had the process tracking certificates, not yet, but these are also stuff that we could have for members. And then, well, the learning material will be available regardless or not whether you're a member or have an account, but they do enable a few cool extra features, so they are still very much worth getting. And now, finally, it's your turn to test. Thank you for listening to me. So you can either go to the IFSA website at ifsa.net/tree-learning, or you can just go to the front page and go to projects and then click tree learning, or you can click the link in the Zoom chat that should be there soon if it is not there yet. And you can either just look around freely, do whatever you feel, or if you don't know where to start, don't know where to look, don't know what to do, there are a few questions here, or like a little treasure hunt that you can challenge yourself with, and try to find questions to these try to find answer to these questions and learn about the platform that way. But this is not a competition. I'm sorry, I don't have any prizes for anyone who finds the answers first. But maybe this is something that will help you look around anyway. And I think this will be posted to the chat too. So I can maybe stop sharing my screen for a while.
Right. Great. Thank you, Alina, for this really great introduction to the platform. I hope you're all very excited to test it out. I think we can stop the recording now, but we can take some questions now, but also we will